Welcome back to the Clay Studio. This is Gomati Sivasankaran. We are in class 5 of the Dhanya Lakshmi painting, and this painting has gone through the first couple of layers where we did the basics of using multiple references and planning and gridding, and then moved on to execution into the second class. The third class was about refining the execution using the second layer of blocking or filling. The third layer is where we are giving a little bit of depth using light versus dark, and that's what we did in the last class, where we focused on the skin tones and the possibilities of using a slightly lighter and darker skin tones to just give a variation inside the zones where the skin tones are showing. So that's where we had done what we had done, and we stopped there. Right now, we're going to focus on that same, giving a couple of tonalities in all other spaces around. And when we look at the other spaces, the important space is the clothing that she's wearing. Right now, it isn't showing the kind of depth. But if you look at the areas where there should be a light and light coming in, and also the darkness, that's all visible also in the picture that we have here. We not necessarily don't have to copy everything, but we can understand the logic of light versus dark, and where the hip line is, that there should be some kind of darkness and such. And for this case where we are using a yellow, we will mix two different tonalities. Of course, I'm going to take titanium white and introduce the primary yellow, just the way we had mixed for the previous layer that we did. We will do that, but to that we will give a slight bit of tweaking and adding another tonality there to build some darker tonality there. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to take the primary yellow or lemon yellow, whatever you have in your palette, it's fine, and add the white. So we have the light lemony color, but this is definitely going to be not so light the way we did in the previous sections. I'm just going to show you. It is looking slightly closer. It's brighter, but it isn't so dull the way it looked in the previous session. So that way it is. I'm just checking whether it is in alignment, so it's okay. This looks fine. So I'm going to take a fresh brush number, let me see. I'm taking brush number 6, round. This is a fresh one. I think the previous brush had another color that was not helping me in the process. So this is good. Okay, this is helping. Good. So I need a darker tonality for this. And what could be the darker tonality? We could add vermilion and make it darker. You could add crimson, make it darker. You could add yellow ochre, make it darker. Green, make it darker. It will all have another variation to it. So just be aware of it. One thing that I have that I might use is called cadmium orange. I like this color, but I'm not a fan of cadmium because it isn't a good color for health reasons. So anything cadmium oxide is all not too good. I use this, but I'm not really indulging in this in a way that I prescribe this. If you want to use another color range, that's also fine. I'm just showing how I would give the darker tonality just with the help of this color range. Yeah. And go ahead and blend it in the places that I want it to. So if you see where I'm drawing them, it's just around the area where the folds of her, where the body is going around, and also on the hip where the belt is placed, there should be some kind of a shadow, and the spacing just around the angle where her legs are folded. We don't see the entirety of her legs, but then there is this fold, so keep that in mind and keep those angles in mind when you do this. So I'm doing this darker shade first, and then to this I will just blend in the lighter yellow, lemon yellow that I have taken, so it will blend well. Again, like I said, you could play around with the yellow ochre to do this. You could play around with having crimson or vermilion, sorry, also to do this. It will give another color texture altogether. So it doesn't mean that, should stick to one color range only. So try to give anything that is helping in the process and helping you define light versus dark. And you can add a bit of titanium white to lighten up the story here in spaces where you want it to. Yeah. So that's how I am going to fill in this space. Okay, so I'm just filling it in, and then I'll do the finish also. This is very similar to what we did in our previous layer. We are filling again, but this time we are filling in 2 different colors. And we're consciously defining the spaces of light versus dark, or what is really appearing in the front and what could be slightly behind because of the angles of the body or the curves and such. Yeah. So this is how I have done it, and you can see it. Oh, it's so bright in your camera. I can see because it's the color is like that. It's just showing in like that. And I haven't taken even a bit of oil, the mixing medium for this thing, because I just wanted to blend in the way it is without oil, because it will take a while for it to dry. The yellows range of colors do take a bit more time than needed to dry, especially if you are using a medium that isn't a super fast drying medium. It's going to take a while to dry. In my case, I don't use super fast drying mediums. And see, we have managed this fine. Okay. And this yellow can be of use in other cases as well. We know that very well. That's for the crop and the banana. So let's do that part. For the crop, I'm just going to fill it in one more time with this yellow in dot format. Okay. Okay. And then also for the banana thing, I'm going to fill that in. But very shortly, we'll have to start defining the banana spaces as well. It's similar to the angle that we gave for the fingers, some kind of shape must be given. So I'm just filling in the yellow. Right. So to this, we will start adding some olive green lines. And for that, I think we'll have to switch to a zero brush or a thinner brush to help us with the process. I'm taking the zero brush and I'm going to take olive green. Olive green will blend in just like the way the cadmium orange blended in here. In some of the places, but we still can manage fine in some, giving some kind of, effect there. Okay. All right, so I take the olive green and now I'm going to go around playing with the images here. So I'm just creating the kind of effect to show there is a shape. So it's going to look like, like I said, we focus on making one shape and kind of giving it an angle so it looks like a pulp or a, one single piece of banana. So kind of giving that angle. Those lines will help you in the process. And in between the lines, you leave those dots so you get the feeling that it is, yeah, it's in fact a lot of banana. Okay. So I think I managed about a couple of rows there. Hmm. These are really larger ones. I want to show that, remember that it's a small little thing, but then the way it is growing on the top, it is a smaller piece of banana and then it gets bigger and bigger towards the bottom. So these things, if you could, slightly give an idea here in this layer, then the next layers become more easier for you to focus on, and the next layers will be really with the colors that you have filled in, you can actually work on further details without filling in colors again. Sometimes, that's also workable provided you have filled in enough of colors needed here. I think I have kind of defined the banana pieces here. Yes, I'll make a stop here with that. I need to I'm just using this olive green to give a spot in between that corn. Okay, so that is fine. I'm going to use this zero brush itself for my sugarcane leaves. It's easier. We could have more leaves, I guess, but I think it makes sense that we do only few now, and then when we come to the finish of it, it'll make sense to add more. Okay, so I have done all those leaves and pull down the sugarcane branch. Done. So what is really pending with her hands is that anything relating to gold, yeah, what she's wearing and so on. So let's go back to a color that is well known for that. What is it? It is our yellow ochre, good old yellow ochre, and when we mix it with a bit of yellow, we are getting a very lighter uh, color range, and it can add a bit of white as well if you want, and that is close to the gold that we will be using. I will be using gold in the final layer possibly, but then if you do not have gold, this color really helps in the process. So use this to do one more layer of the jewelry spacing, and now we need a little bit of dimension as well, so we are going to work on that. I am doing the necklace kind of a thing here around her neck. Then I think she needs a bit of a bigger jewelry also. I see the woman here, the goddess here is in our reference is really adorned and lot of jewelry. But let's have this in a form. It's good kind of jewelry, but not too much of jewelry going on. And also, I want to give a spot in her ear, kind of giving suggestion that there is something there. For her ears as well. And her bangles, let's give some space for bangles. So I'm just going around with the same color, creating bangles. And those bangles will be slightly, coming around like a curve. Around the wrist. Oh, this one. Right. I think we managed that. Let's do the belt in her hip. So we took care of her jewelry also. Now, I wanted to correct an error from the previous. I noticed that this has to be going thin slightly and then it has to be coming out here. The shape is wrong, at least from what I noticed, that it is slightly longer than what I had done in my previous layering. So I'm adjusting the size of it, and here I think when we come to the background, we'll fix that part. That's going to be a bit of a challenge fixing it in the background. Let's do that then. So this is about the jewelry that we added, but even the jewelry has a bit of an angle, has a bit of what do you call, light and dark. Let's create that by adding burnt umber. That's a safer color to darken. So I'm just darkening on the sides of the sides of the crown here. Okay, and I'm darkening a bit of the side of her jewelry. Tad bit, tiny, suggestive shading. You don't need to worry about too much of shading here, but just think of it, where exactly could the shade fall. Especially, for example, in the jewelry, I can say, okay, this will be a shady portion, and here there could be some shades coming up and such. Yeah, it's a very slight definition that you're trying to give, but it will help in the process. The light versus dark, everything goes together, even in the jewelry, definitely in the jewelry as well. So do that, and then I think we are done with the jewelry related arrangement. Let's work on the flower, lotus flower. That's a pretty color. What color is that? The pretty pink. I'm taking a bit of white. I'm going to add a tiny bit of crimson. Slight bit of crimson, not too much. Yeah, because I want it to be on the lighter side. I'm going to add, I've not been using oil at all for a while now. So now that I need, let me push this up, get a good view. Yes, I have enough of the lighter pink that I wanted. So I'm just putting it here to see how things go. It looks good enough. I'm going to use this to fill the flowers that are in her hand first. The small little lotuses in her hand. Okay, and that helps. And now I could focus more on the lotus that she's seated in. And I'm deliberately going to use this color in a way that I will leave out a darker tonality on the sides of it. So you see that there is this division. Huh? So this is again like filling in the way we filled in our previous layer. Then we are going to quickly but then we are going to quickly give a shading also to this to give what is light versus what is dark. So what we have done is the light, essentially the light areas of our painting of the lotus, and now we could work on the dark as well. Working on the dark becomes slightly easier now that we focus only on taking a bit more of crimson only and just drawing those contours or giving the finesse here and there, such. Gonna need a bit more of crimson. Where is that? Gonna take that. So we're nearly there with the key image or the key personality here and the key features. Defining light versus dark. What is now left is the background. And for the background, I think we used the crimson and we added on the safer side to add pink here. Yes. So we had added crimson and I'm just thinking crimson and ultramarine blue, I think. Yes, let's do that. But if not, also, if we had added a different color, it's also nice to try these two. I think we did the same thing. Yeah, it looks like. So crimson and ultramarine blue, and when we add a little more of what you call white, then it gets on the lighter side. And I'm going to have that lighter version first done. With less of this color and more of the white rather. So relying on titanium white again, really on the whitey side. I want it even more whitey. Okay, so I have added the crimson and ultramarine blue. And what I'm doing is to add a lot of titanium white to that. So it's really on the lavender zone, very light lavender zone. That's how it looks. It's almost on, when you want to say that it's white. And I'm going to have two different color tonalities again in my background. Just looking for the right spacing for you to. Now I do not need this. So what I want to do is to make a circle, like a halo around her, and have that lighter, and then the rest of it in the darker space. So I'm just looking at a circle. I'm making the circle. This is the way I also teach if you are learning how to make circles. When you actually move around with your wrist, so it's only the wrist moving, then you create a circle kind of a thing, and then you don't land until you feel comfortable with the idea of where the circle could go. So I can see that, okay, this is where the circle could go. So I'm just doing this. Okay, this feels like nearly there with the circle definition. So we don't get the full circle because it's really, behind the flower. So the flower forms a base, and then you have 3/4 of a circle visible here, if I may say so. So that's the viewpoint of the circle, and I'm taking the darker color tones there, and I want only the lighter color tones to appear here. So I'm just gonna do this lighter color tones here. Defining how this will look like. And now there are two ways to do this. You have already done this before when we did the layer 2, to focus on taking a small little brush and do the contours first, and then come back to filling the space. But this time when you fill the space, it's not like last time. Last time I just did everywhere. This time it's going to be on a curvy plane, so make sure the curves appear. It's not white. I'm just not happy with the color yet. That's a challenge now for me. Or a darker color tone that's coming out. But I wanted this only for, the space here and not there. So I'm going to take a bit more of white and see what happens there. A bit more white. It's not going to help in the process, so it's going to be, okay, what do we do with this now? I know that my lines are correct. I just do not need this white, the kind of color mixture that has come here. Just going to take it away, some of it away, place it here. So I'm just taking it off. placing it here and balancing out. Oh, so these things really happen, but again, it's your choice. If you are happy with these colors, it's fine. The colors that you have created, it's fine. I just want it to be glowy. I am thinking of adding a bit more of titanium white to help me with the process. So I'm going to add only white here because I know that I have already mixed too much color here. There's no point in adding um, the titanium white to any other color in the palette. So this is helping me kind of grow with the color that I wanted. It isn't the best, but it isn't bad. So, in terms of this background, I also work on layers 3 to 4. So I'm also looking for the opportunity to say, okay, can I finish this in the layer 3, finish the background in layer 3. We're looking at the way it's going, maybe it'll have another layer, doesn't matter, but just for now, I think I'm kind of surviving on this white added here, lightening up the space, so that's fine. So coming back to what we were doing, we are trying to give the contours the angles needed to just safeguard our key characters and the key structure of our picture, and then to make sure that we don't end up spoiling anything here. Just doing that very carefully. I use the same round brush. I think I've been using brush number 5 all along for this background. But if you want to switch to a smaller brush to work on the contours, that's a good idea to do. I wouldn't stop you at all. Just do that. Again, I flush it out and I move in the circular angle to make sure that it's looking like the halo kind of a thing. Managed here as well. Good. All right, so I am going back to the contours, and here it's a little bit, we need to be very cautious because the yellow mixes so well and it gives another tonality immediately, and the green also is as dangerous. Okay. For the next layer, let's do it this way, that we work on the background and then we come back to the layer. But that will really actually delay the process also. Okay. Good. So now I think I'm nearly there with the contours on this side, and I've also managed to fill in the halo on this side. So I'm going to move to the other side of it. It's just looking so bright now that we have the lighter tonality background coming in. So I'm just doing this very carefully, coming close to her shoulder line and filling in that section. Yes. So that was one contour done, and this is going to be a slight bit of a challenge because there's a lot of leaves and such, so just go around it. Do this in a way that it balances out somehow, and if you have a little bit of space here and there, we can fill it with green there. Don't try going too near the green. If you're exactly trying to do what I'm doing here, yes. All right, that is good. I think I managed this space kind of. And then also keeping the circular shape intact, going around. Okay, this is another tricky area, but I think, yeah. Okay, so I have kind of readjusted the sections, and I'm now taking the darker colors, that is just the ultramarine blue and crimson mixed color with a little bit of white, and that goes well for the rest of the portions. And I'm just going to blend in that section where the halo comes in, so it doesn't look so sharp. Yeah, that's important for me, so I'm going to do that. So taking in that color and just blending it in. That I think I can use this color now for the rest of the image. Again, the way I'm moving my hand is also in the circular direction to be in alignment with the halo. Yeah. Doing that. The top corners are done, and now the focus goes to the bottom corners. So I'll have to just move this up. But before I get onto the bottom corner and swing my hands around, I just want to be sure that I am doing the contours of this lotus flower also nicely, so there isn't any distractions when we work in the full swing. Taken care of now. Go in the same direction and go ahead and fill out the corners. So just one more corner to work with, but then this isn't the final for me, finish line for me, because I also work on the sides. So talked about it, working on the sides also, in building the background on the sides also really gives a nice finish to the final product. Yes. So we are going to work on the sides as well. I have a bit of color left. Good. So it's not that I'm running out of color, so it's manageable here. But I'm just going to work on the sides of it. When I go on the sides also, I look at the angle of the brush stroke, and it has to be in alignment with the curvy thing that we are doing. So I'm going to do that also here in the other side, so you get to see what exactly goes on here. So I go swinging my hand. So I was doing up and down when I was doing the previous layer, but right now I'm just swinging crisscross, so it's looking like it's a part of the circle itself. Two sides are done, and now I'll have to push through for the top and bottom. Any kind of adjustment that I make, I just make sure that it goes back again to the same swing of arc. I think we have managed to complete the layer 3. Like I mentioned, in our end of layer 2, that it gives some good amount of time for us to also get acclimatized to what we have created and see if there is any need for improvement or such, and rework on things if we need. And also gives the the canvas some rest when we are not touching it, so it can absorb all the colors and get dried, and it is ready to take on the next layer. So in both ways it helps to take a break between this class and the next class, and resonate in what we have done here, and see if we can improvise it in any way, take a note of what you want to do better, how you want to improvise things better and such. Then we will be ready for the next class. Yes, but and until such time that we meet, then I would definitely wish you to stay healthy, stay happy, stay blessed, stay motivated, and let's meet up in the next class for layer 4. Bye bye.